Hello, everybody. So, me and JJ been trying to do this for a while, and we just couldn't get our schedules lined up. Tonight, we finally can. Better known as DevilsJoint on the internet, this guy and I have become really, really good friends. Primarily because of not primarily, but our dogs had a lot to do with it. Because we're both really avid dog people. You can see mine back there. He's chilling out. Buddy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, Canes fans? DevilsJoint here. My name's JJ. I just want you to know that I am a frenemy. I even tell that to some Rangers fans. Like, we want to have fun. We don't want to literally hate each other. But that does seem to happen in some cases. But in this case, we can be civil, right? This is what's happening right now. Thank you for having me, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, I'm just happy you're here. No, it's just. See, the thing is, I understand the frenemy mindset because, like, I really look forward to when the Canes and Devils play because it's become such a good rivalry. It's one of the best ones.
We keep losing.
That's not going to happen forever, though. Law of averages. I mean, the Capitals eventually beat the Penguins in the playoffs, and then they went on and won Stanley Cup. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's that Carolina's going to whip y'all's ass forever. It's not going to happen. Especially not with as many good players as you have, and you have a decent prospect pool for a competitive team on top of that. Yeah. But this rivalry actually goes pretty far back, though. Like, if we go back to like the 2009 series, that one was nuts. That was the last one I saw before I left home.
You know, the game where Brodeur basically fell apart. And did Stahl score 2 goals in this game? I forgot if it was 2007 or 2009. The Devils were up by 1 and then lost it in the last minute. That's when the rivalry started.
Yeah, it was 09.
That was 09, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because that was game 7. Carolina was down by 1, and then I can't remember who scored first, and then Stahl scored the other one.
Stahl scored.
That was the shock at the Rock thing. That was, right. And then I promptly watched Carolina get killed by Pittsburgh and swept in the next round after that.
Pittsburgh was good, though.
Yeah, and they won the cup again, or that year, if I remember correctly.
Right, 2009, right?
Yeah, that's right, because they played Detroit again after they lost to them the previous year in the cup finals. But there was that, and then we've had all these run-ins in the postseason since then, and it's nowhere near the end. I think they'll see each other again in the playoffs this year, more than likely.
Yeah, actually, one of my friends, he said since he became a Devils fan in 2007, he looked up how many times the Devils have played the Canes and what the record was, and including playoffs since like 2007, it's like even. It's like 33 to 33 or something like that. I forgot what it was, but that's including playoffs. But obviously, the Canes have the playoff advantage, which I can't deny that.
Oh, don't worry. If we ever play in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm sure you'll find a way to beat the shit out of us because
the Devils have a history of being good in the Eastern Conference Finals. I got to give us that. What's up, Lachy?
Yeah, the last time that I actually saw the Devils, so one of the last time I remember this game like very, very well. When I was on the ship and we were overseas, and sometimes we would get games on the Armed Forces Network, and they actually showed Game 3 between the Devils and the Kings in 2012. That was the only hockey game I got to watch for probably 3 or 4 months.
Can I tell you something about that series? Yes. It's such a heartbreaker for me, man. My first child was born during Game 2 of that series. Now, that Game 2 was in New Jersey. I had tickets for that series, but obviously with my child being born, I couldn't make any of those games. But what are the chances of someone being a fan of a team and then having a baby and then it being born while that team is in the finals, but they lost, man? My daughter could have been a Devils Stanley Cup baby. That's like the rarest thing you could have is your child being born during that, like that short window of time that has to happen because of, it's just it was so crazy that they beat the Rangers. And I was like, oh my God, my daughter was in the NICU. So she was born on June 3rd, which was right in the middle of the series. And they lost the first 2 games, but they still could have come back, but they just blew it. And I was so sad because I could still have a Devils baby to this day. My daughter would be a Devils Stanley Cup born during the Cup, and that they won, of course. But instead, she's a New York Rangers Eastern Conference Finals baby.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah, that was a pretty like insane time, because like that entire era of my life between 2009 and like 2015, it's all kind of a blur. I mean, maybe I would remember some things if the Canes were good then, but for the most part, I just remember go on ship, go to ocean, come back for a little bit, go back out. Like that's all I did back then. So it was like I was just
you were on
all the
schedule.
Time. Yeah, on somebody else's schedule, and It was like I don't remember much of anything from that time frame. Like there's times where people bring up players from that time frame, whether they played for the Canes, Devils, whoever, and I just straight up don't remember them. It's not that I didn't watch games then. It's not that I didn't try to keep up with it. It's just that entire time frame to me is a blur.
Yeah, I have a blackout time myself. From 2004 through about 2010. I have blackout of what players came in and out. And, even though I was going, like you said, I was going to games, this and that, I just, for some reason, like those were not the best years for my memory. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a big drinker either. So it's not because I was drunk.
Yeah, because I've basically stopped because like I lost a bunch of weight, and part of the reason that I know that I did is because I stopped drinking, even though I didn't do it a ton before. But like even now, like when I'm driving, it will. Like, and now it's like when I drive past fast food places, not only do I not get the craving anymore, I almost feel sick looking at them. I'm worried about the next time I have Bojangles. I don't think y'all have those up there, but you have Wawa at least, though. We don't have one down here yet.
I don't have Wawa because I'm in New York, but
no, that's true.
I'm in New York. I think we might have one, but not anywhere. I'm in Long Island. So I grew up, for people who don't know, I grew up walking distance from the Nassau Coliseum, which was the Islanders' original home. So I grew up going to a lot of Islanders games and meeting a lot of the teams that were coming in because they would stay at the Marriott, which was right across the street from my house. So I met some amazing, just every star you could think of in the 90s that they would come to the gate one. They would come out. They would do morning skate at 10 a.m. That was the away team's time. And then they would come walking out and walk from the Coliseum to the Marriott. And then we catch them right in between there. So I have jerseys like from every team and of that time signed by random players from all different years. It was a good time, but being a Devils fan, it does suck not being as close to my home arena, but it's not that far away from me either. It's a 45-minute drive.
Yeah, see, I've actually never really lived close to Lenovo. I've always been at least 3.5 hours away from it, except when I was growing up in Fayetteville. But I actually didn't go to a Canes game until I was 19, I think. That was the first time that I went to one. Wow. And I paid for my, yeah. So what it was for me growing up, we had the now defunct Central Hockey League, and the Fayetteville Force was the first team that we had. And then they went away. And then we got the Fire Ants in what was originally called the Atlantic Coast Hockey League. And then they folded and went into the Southeastern Hockey League. And then that's what eventually became the SPHL that we know now. So they're one of the charter members of that league, and that team is still there in Fayetteville, North Carolina, of all places, going on. Let's see. They started in 2002, so 23 years that team has been there. They're called the Marksmen now. But that was my introduction to hockey, was minor league. So it's like I'm used to seeing like one fight a period. This is back in the day. It's one fight a period. Everybody's hitting everybody, throwing late hits, hacking each other's hands off. Nobody cares. It's just like, yeah, dude. It was like it was like watching Gladiator. It really was back then. It was like them boys were tough.
Have you seen this boxing league where they make a little fake hockey rink and put them on skates and they do hockey boxing?
No, I've heard about it, but I haven't looked at it yet.
I haven't watched it myself. I don't know why I even asked you, because I haven't watched it, but I don't know if it's going to be stupid or good. I'm going to watch it tonight when I get the kids to sleep. I'm definitely going to check that out though. Because it seems kind of like a good idea, but it also could be really stupid. Well, but I wanted to ask you, there's a new team, the Greensboro Gargoyles now, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're in the E. I may go see them when they come down here to play the Stingrays, because they'll be down here twice. I can't bring myself to support the Stingrays because they're affiliated with the Caps. I can't do that.
It's the Caps team, yeah.
So I can't do that. And I've got nothing against the Stingrays, and I don't hate the Capitals that much since I moved out of the Washington metropolitan area. But I had just moved there when they won the Cup, and then Carolina played them in the playoffs next year. And by Game 3, I was foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
I was I legitimately hated them by them from living there. And especially, I remember the morning after Carolina won Game 4, I want to say it was, when Oshie got hurt, and that's someone I used to not like. He's grown on me ever since. And there was a bagel shop down the street from where I lived at the time. So I threw my dog in the truck and I go there to get one. And some dude, I'm walking out with my bagel, or I'm going to get my bagel. And he's like, and I'm wearing Kane stuff, obviously. And he's like, man, fuck Warren Fogley. I'm like, who the hell is Warren Fogley? I know who Warren Fogle is. I'm pretty sure he was still hungover from the night before. I go in, I get my bagel, and I'm walking back across the street towards the parking lot, and he's still standing there chirping at me. And I got pissed off. I heard Limp Bizkit playing in my head, and I started yelling back at him while I'm standing in the middle of the street, and a car pulls up and stops right there. I'm like, hold on a second. I finished saying what I had to say, which I will not repeat on here because it was rather unfriendly. And I went back to my truck, and I went home. But yeah, it got heated around that time. It really did. Every time I went to work, me and people were going at each other and everything every single day. And,
I got to say, Limp Bizkit underrated, by the way.
I agree. It's like, but yeah, I heard break stuff in my head when that whole situation went down. And I remember, by Game 6, I could feel how nervous everyone there was. They did not think that Carolina would get that. Hell, I didn't either. And, I won't tell this story because it's long enough to tell on its own, but I remember exactly where I was during Game 7 and everything. I wanted to go to the game, but I just couldn't afford it at the time. But that was a time. But
not one day all of us are rich and can get to every game and do everything. Like, I see people on the internet and they make things look like everything's so accessible to everyone. No. It's because you have a lot of money and we can't afford what you're doing. So shut up.
I think that's part of the reason I love the SPHL so much. It's cheap to go to, and it's still good hockey.
And it's good hockey, right? As long as it's a good product.
I see people dragging that league all the time, and I'm like, yo, you couldn't play in it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
They're legitimate professionals. I've skated with some of those guys in the alumni games and everything, and they're going 10%.
Right.
And I'm huffing and puffing, trying to make myself look like I belong out there.
Now, over the summer, I was pushing the 3-ice hockey league. Did you watch that?
I got to watch a little bit of it. I thought that was cool.
It was, anyone who's listening to this, next summer, it's going to be here in Long Island, actually. And it's great. It's 3-on-3. There's no penalties, only penalty shots. The best part about that is when the penalty shot goes, the shooter starts at the red line and the rest of the teams line up behind him at the blue line, and they all go at once. So if you miss or get your team could get a rebound on a penalty shot. It's so fun to watch, and it's just like a game of all overtime.
Yeah, it's like when the penalty shot thing, I saw that it's kind of like right after a free throw ends. And if it goes off the rim, you can just go for the ball. That's basically what it is. And I think that's a great idea. I really like it.
It might not work. It wouldn't work for the NHL, but in this league, it might actually. I haven't thought about it. But in this league, the way the rules are and the way that things go, it's great. It's just great. And every coach is except for Ken Danico, who is our Devils, Mr. Devil. He's the only one who isn't in the Hall of Fame that's a coach. All the coaches are Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. Or Ken Danico, who's just a well-known hockey guy.
Yeah, and if y'all haven't seen him and Danico's interview, very, very good. I highly recommend that.
You might see one live tomorrow from The Rock. I'm going to see Dano and Don, who's the new play-by-play, Don LaGreca, who was the Rangers guy, radio guy. I'm going to go meet with them tomorrow before the game, so I might go live on X. Because the only way I'm allowed to stream live to X is from my phone. I can't use. I see you use StreamYard. I use another program for streaming, but X has blocked me for what reason I don't know from streaming through streaming software to X directly. Yeah, so I might go live though with Danico tomorrow.
See, that's what's weird about it, because the first time we were going to go on your side and do it, and then you were having that issue. See, and luckily I haven't had nothing like that yet with StreamYard. I'm going to give EV Mux a legitimate shot when my StreamYard subscription runs out, but that's 8 months from now. But then I want to try it because it looks interesting. Like, I remember I came into the interview you were doing with Agnes Crookshank, who's really fucking cool. You know, like, and I was like, okay, this looks a little bit different than StreamYard. So I want to give it a shot.
It's great. It's not as user friendly, but it's better for, you know, it's just, I think it's a little better, because when things become less user friendly, that means they usually have more options, more things you can do if you could figure them out. But it's really not anything hard, as long as you know what you're doing. So you could even try mine if you want. I'll give you my info, and you could log in and see if you like it. You could test it that way instead of having to pay for it.
I think I'll give that a shot at some point or another.
Because I could share, like, I think there's like a link I can share out that would allow you to use it for like 24 hours, something like that. That's how I got it. My friend did that to me, sent me his thing, and then I liked it, and I ended up never paid for StreamYard before, but I never used StreamYard, so I can't really. I'm not gonna knock it. I just like EV Mux. Yeah, it's a good program.
Yeah, no, I just kind of already had some familiarity with this with my buddies on Caniac sessions using it, so I just went ahead and grabbed it so I could give it a try.
Everyone uses StreamYard for the. I usually see StreamYard being used. I can tell just by like the way things look on the screen if it's StreamYard or not. Just the way things look, you could tell if it's StreamYard. I really like the layout that you put up. And you know what? Buy Me a Coffee. They make it so easy to have for a QR code. Boom. That was. I don't know how StreamYard works, but I have to on EV Mux. You would have to make like a separate scene, and then you like kind of build it, and then you have multiple scenes. Does it do that on StreamYard?
No, basically it's got a in the media assets tab on here. Basically, it's got one for QR code. That's actually not where this is. And it's got a logo tab, and that's where I put that QR code at. And honestly, I actually never tested it, so I don't even know if it works, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. But
yeah, it should work.
I'm gonna give it a try myself to make sure that it's oh, okay.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I've received a few donations since I got that one, and I'm very grateful for all of them because that makes doing this a lot easier because eventually I want to upgrade my computer and some other stuff. Whatever money I make off this goes right back into the project here. And, it's like content creators like you and I think we're more important now than ever to provide, like, here's the thing about it. I'm trying to think of the right way to word this so people don't think that I'm going after anyone in particular with this particular thing, because I'm not. There are certain websites that will hire anybody with a pulse. And they will either write anything that they want to write that they can chock full of links so that they can get a bigger payout. They will post misleading titles, misleading thumbnails, misleading everything. Or they will write things that are patently false and never face any consequences for it. And just move on and not think twice about it. Yeah. And some of them are big names. Whereas you and I, it's like every time I click on one of your videos or I read something you write, I know what the subject matter is. I try to do the same thing because I don't want to sit there and bait people into reading something that they didn't sign up to read or watch.
Exactly. And that goes on way too often. Way too often. It's actually said. Matthew here is in the chat. Do you mind if I answer his question?
Yeah, sure. Which one? I'll pull it up. This one right here.
He said, who do I think are the best Devils prospects, and who's my favorite prospect at the moment? Well, the best Devils prospect right now is Gritsuk. Gritsuk's come in. He's got a goal, a few assists. He's really lighting it up. Came over from the KHL. That sometimes they don't work. That doesn't work out. The Devils had Nikita Gusev. We thought he was going to be an all-star, and he really didn't work out. But my favorite Devils prospect is Yegorov, the goalie. He's down in Utica, and he's the Devils' future. That's why if you look at my posts today, I posted, stop signing I called them elderly. They're younger than me, but the Devils can't have two elderly goalies going forward. They can't re-sign Markstrom again. Get rid of Markstrom, bring up one of the young guys, and then Allen's going to be with the Devils for 5 years. They signed him for 5 years, but that's, in 3 years, he might not be starting or even be on the Devils. But Yegorov, the goalie, playing for Boston, was it Boston University or Boston College? I forgot, whichever, but you can check out a bunch of the highlights from his Boston versus Rhode Island, or forgot who the fuck they played. Pardon me. Who they
No, go ahead, you're fine. Boston University, yeah, Mikhail Yegorov plays for.
Yeah, Boston University. So he's my favorite prospect for the Devils, because the Devils, since Brodeur has been gone from the organization as a player, the Devils have never, they had, they started with Corey Schneider, horrible move to trade your 8th draft pick, which was Bo Horvat, for Corey Schneider, who ended up being horrible. Since Brodeur left the Devils have not figured out goaltending. And I think Yegorov is that guy that can finally solidify the goaltending in New Jersey. So thank you for asking, Matthew.
Yeah, we're the Canes, we're hoping that we get some sort of better long-term solution with goal two, because Kochekov, everyone at this point really has their doubts about him.
I like him too.
I like him too, but he's just he is the most spastic, hot and cold goalie I've ever seen. He either makes highlight reel saves or he lets someone shoot a chuck-a-puck past him. It's the weirdest damn thing.
That's how Corey Schneider was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey Schneider was a little less schizophrenic than Kochekov can be, though. He was a little bit more calm, in my opinion. Kochekov, his personality really is tied into the way that he plays.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Kochekov, he does some shit that's just really funny. Like, there was one game in LA that after Carolina won, there were some fans that were sitting behind him chirping him, and he turned around and he pointed at them and he went, "Hey, you, ha, 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 ha." It was hilarious. But so, like, a lot of his personality is tied in with how he plays. And I think he's a great goalie, but, like, when he's off his game, when he gets in his own head, it is bad.
It's bad news. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, you have two very stable and relatively consistent goalies right now in New Jersey, but I do understand what you're talking about with having to have that.
Markstrom's out for at least a month now.
Yeah. We're still holding our breath about Slavin.
Yeah. You know what? I am too, because I love Slavin. I love the guy. I mean, I heard them saying something. I don't know where I heard it, but they were saying, like, the NHL as a whole is starting to love him as a player, because he's like almost like the guy next door kind of. I don't know what they said, but I just like him. He's always in position. I can't hate on Slavin. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
Yeah, and it's like, and see, that's another funny thing. When you and I talked about this, you and I play about the exact same way. We're both like zero offense, never go into the offensive zone, stay at home defenseman. Exactly. It's like we cover 2/3 of the ice over the course of any game, and that is it.
Right. Yep. And I grew up a Devils fan, hardcore defensive fan of defense, so when I played as a kid, I wanted to be a defenseman, like Danico and Stevens and all these guys.
I was going to say Stevens.
Devils. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm not huge. Like I'm 5'9.5", 5'10" on a good day if I'm wearing the right shoes, but if you know how to throw a hip check, if you know how to hit, you don't have to be big to be able to hit and make, make an impact with your on the game with your hits if you're small. I forgot where I was going with that, but either way, I did well as a hard hitting defenseman my whole life playing hockey as a short. I wouldn't say a short guy, but not the biggest.
Yeah, see, I'm only about 5'11", but I'm built like a refrigerator. So, like, in that way, it's hard to get around me. What's weird, though, I'm surprised I can poke check people as well as I do, because my arms are short. Like, I have T-Rex arms. I really do. When me and we'd been dating for a while, but me and my girlfriend, there was one day we were out doing something. I don't remember what. And I tried to reach something on a shelf for her at a store somewhere. And I could barely get it. And I got it and I pulled it down. She's like, do me a favor, hold your arms out. And I'm like, okay. And she held hers out and she's like, your arms are shorter than mine. And she's like 4 or 5 inches shorter than me. I was like, oh, fuck. And then now I realized it's like every time that, like when I do squats, I have to use one of those racks that you put over your shoulder and grip it with your hands because I can't get my arms back here because they're too damn short.
So you are T-Rex arms. Wow.
I am legitimately T-Rex arms. I legitimately have T-Rex arms.
And at least you admit it, and you know that that's a fact about yourself, and you don't deny it. You're not denying.
There is no denying it. It's science. It's like when I see people that are clearly like wearing lifts in their shoes or wearing, or one of the big things. There's a lot of people like, so I work at a pro shop, right? And there's a lot of people that I can tell are wanting to buy skates that are like a size and a half too big, not because they're still growing, but because they're afraid that like they'll look bad. Oh, dude, I haven't seen a pair of those in a minute.
I got these right here. Yeah, I don't even know when, where these were, when I had these, but I pulled them out of a bag the other day, and I happen to have.
Wow.
Actually, what's it? Matthew said that we like Russians. These 2 sticks right here are Alexander Mogilny Stanley Cup game used sticks.
I remember when you sent me the picture of those.
Yeah,
those
I
cool.
keep them. I like to keep them in the corner there. I love Russian hockey players. Yeah. Also another question. I don't want to take. I'm not trying to take over your.
Dude,
stream.
You're good. No, it's all good.
Someone asked about the Simon Nemeth hate. In the Devils fans. This is what's up with that.
Let me see. Let me find it.
Skylarker, second to last comment.
That one.
This is the problem. The Devils have a lot of defensemen. They have Johnny Kovacevic, who's out right now for, probably till after the new year. They have Nemeth, Luke Hughes. Obviously, you got to pull him out and pretend he's already been here for a while because that's how they're going to treat him anyway. And he just signed the deal. But then you got Seamus Casey, who's injured, but he's probably better than Luke Hughes, in my opinion.
I think Casey's better than Hughes.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you got Anton Saleyev that's going to be coming. Another Russian, and he's supposed to be just as good as these guys, right? So Nemeth kind of falls below all of those guys, and they have to trade. They're eventually going to have to trade someone because the Devils first of all have the highest paid defensive core in the league right now, and it's they have like with injuries like 10 good defensemen and they can't fit them all. So you're going to have to trade the young ones. I don't know why people are hating on him because he's solid. He's clutch. He plays good defense. If you look through, like if you went on my DevilsJoint on Twitter and you typed in his name, you would find so many great highlight pictures, videos of him, so I don't understand hate. I think people want to, they think or know that he's the one that's going to be traded. So they just kind of don't give him the time of day. I think that's kind of what it is. If you're going to use the word hate, those people are crazy. That's
those are people that also had some very not nice things to say about you when you so much as recommended the idea that maybe y'all should trade Luke keep the core you have intact for a lot less money.
When I was just, how do you even go about this? You gotta sit in reality sometimes. You can't just be, as a hockey fan, you don't own the team. You're not a GM. You're not an owner, and but you want to think like one. You want to be like, hey, something's not working out here, right? So my thing, and I don't know if the Canes fans are aware of this, but because you won't hear it from anyone but me and maybe 2 other guys, the Hughes brothers have turned the locker room into a circus. This is it's my opinion, but it's also true. No one wants to hear it. It's caused a lot of division between some players. I can't really speak specifics on that. Players are, what's the word I'd be looking for? Like players are kind of like upset that they pull these guys out because they're brothers. They get a lot of interviews that they are recorded. They miss meetings because of it. They're treated better than the rest of the team. So I said trading Luke Hughes at that time because Jack Hughes, it's almost like no, they're not going to trade Jack Hughes. But trading Luke Hughes with all those defensemen available for the Devils would be smart to get that. I call it the circus, to get that to go away. But I also know the owners want money, and those brothers are making them money. They don't give a about the fans. They're giving us rally towels when we go to the opener tomorrow. The Ducks, I don't know if you saw the Ducks fans, they got these
masks.
Duck masks.
That's so cool.
Come on, Devils, you can't give us something better than a rally towel again? I have a dresser, an armoire full of rally towels. I don't need another rally towel. But they don't care, because they're gonna sell 1 million Hughes jerseys in the Devil's Den store, and it pisses me off, because I made a video saying that Utah would have been a great place for Luke Hughes to go and be his own player, not be in the shadow of his brother. He wouldn't be, because he's always going to be Hughes number 2 on the Devils, no matter what happens.
Until Quinn gets there, then he becomes Hughes number 3.
Then he drops. Yeah, then he drops, and even Jack may drop to number 2 if that happens. If that happens, man, I'm jumping. No, I'm not jumping off anything. But I do not want that. I actually didn't want, as you know, I didn't want two Hughes on the Devils, let alone 3. So it causes a lot of problems that people will not admit to. A lot of locker room stuff. When the players aren't in meetings and the Devils aren't playing well, and they're being interviewed about their ice cream flavor and, what toppings they like on their pizza for some segment that no one's going to watch during an intermission, that pisses the players off. And that pisses me off, because I know that happens. People, how do you know that happens? Because I do. Just take a look at my history of the people I interview. I obviously
that was what I was going to say next. You're clearly connected. You've interviewed several of their players. You've interviewed Ken Danico. I watched that one in its entirety. I was there when you interviewed Agnes Crookshank. You're not just some run of the mill YouTuber. You actually have connections, legitimate ones.
And with that said, I'd never say that. I've never said that before, but it's kind of obvious. I mean, if but I get a lot. I've had people say they wanted to hurt my children. I'm not going to repeat it, what it was said, but this is, some 19-year-old from Vancouver that, likes 6 teams and, threatened my kids or hoped that something horrible would happen to my children, someone would break into my house and take them and do something to them, and not kill them, but you know what I mean. You know where I'm going.
Yeah. No, I know exactly. So that's one of the biggest things that we wanted to talk about.
Thank you.
With this. So I know I haven't been responding to a whole lot of comments, but one of the things that him and I talk about almost more than the game itself is there's been an influx. I've noticed it over the past decade or so. There's been an influx of these fans who have this weird hypersexual parasocial relationship with some of the players. And there's some players that are
fetishizing.
Yeah, and there's some players that they do that more with others. Just to be perfectly honest about it, Jack and Luke Hughes are 2 of the ones that they do it the most. And that's not an indictment on them. They didn't ask for any of this.
And Quinn, yeah, they all 3 of them. And then the Celebrini and Will Smith.
Zegras, Bedard.
Bedard,
Drysdale. And here's the thing about it. I've mentioned this on here before, and he's mentioned it in the chat of a couple of streams, but here's us actually telling you, we won't display anything that we saw. But from people that we know that have infiltrated some of their group chats that involve some of the players we just mentioned and more.
Yeah.
Words that rhyme with grape and infest. And all 3 of the Hughes brothers are used in fan fictions that these people are writing in these group chats. And him being threatened and his family being threatened, that's no bullshit either. I criticized Brenda Moore once and I got a death threat because of that. So I'm aware that these types of things happen. But it seems to me, and I follow a lot of different sports. You guys know I'm a really big Atlanta Braves fan and a really big Carolina Panthers fan, and I watch a lot of motorsports. I only see this in 2 things: hockey and Formula One.
Really?
For some odd reason, that's where it all comes from. But this phenomena of these, and it's men and women both,
yes,
of them being obsessed with
or
some of
whatever
these
they
weird,
think they are that day.
yeah, there's like this weird obsession that they're doing with the players. And it's like there was one I remember that someone said, and this was posted publicly before it got taken down, someone who said that they were going to force Jack Hughes to impregnate her against his will, and that they threatened. And there was a girl that I'm assuming he's dating that he was skating around with when you guys had the Stadium Series games last year. He was skating with her at the family skate or whatever, and there were people threatening her.
Yeah, they were going after her. They found her so fast.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No, they're I can't say this for sure, but it seems to be kids for the most part. Like I'm saying, like kids like 16 to 19, maybe to 22. It seems to be a lot of that age group who have been and we're not trying to get political, but they've kind of been indoctrinated to be degenerates in school everywhere for the past decade, these people. So and I love them and I wish them the best, but seeing a photo the other day, not a photo but a fan fiction animation that they made of 3 different players doing things with each other, all
I know which one
male
you're
players.
talking about.
Yeah, when I mean, that's just disgusting and it's sick. And 2 of them are related to each other, so you said that word. Who is, like, what is this? And I noticed that those same people did get into, I saw a NASCAR use Formula One, same thing, auto racing in general.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that they were doing that though, but I did know that they started getting into like being obsessive about certain racers.
Yeah.
I did notice that. Yeah. So, bless them. God, hopefully they don't have to deal with these people.
Yeah, see that's the weird thing about it to me. So like me coming from a perspective of being a racing fan, I actually used to really like Formula One. Between 2014 and 2017, I won't go into specifics about it because we'd be here all day. I felt like that product went totally to hell. And basically it became, if you are leading coming out of turn 1, you're probably going to win the race.
I was like that.
Yeah, that's what it turned into. Now, don't get me wrong, NASCAR is not as good as it used to be either. But it's like it turned into this thing where they found so what Formula One got good at was marketing. They could make it look like it was a better race than it actually was through camera work, commentary. Right. They made green flag pit stops sound like the most exciting thing that ever happened. And I'm kind of like, I've been watching this since I was a little kid. I know that this is not a big deal. And, they'll sit there and talk about how much they love this, but they don't know the difference between a front wing and a rear wing. They couldn't tell an Indy car and a Formula One car apart if one was slap full of European sponsors and the other one full of American ones. There's a whole bunch of different things with that. And, if I asked any of them who Michael Schumacher or Ayrton Senna was, they wouldn't know. There was one post I saw the other day where someone thought the puck was made out of plastic.
Jesus.
The only time a puck is made out of plastic is when you go get the green biscuits so you can practice your stick handling off ice. You can't take those on the ice; you'll shatter it.
Or if you try one of those plastic Milek pucks in the street, that will never work. Don't try.
No, that won't. You know what really sucks though? I remember when I was playing roller hockey when I was a kid, we had the pucks that had the little steel ball bearings in them. Those things hurt to get hit with.
Yeah,
and you get hit with one of those and whacked with an aluminum Nike stick right after the fact. So
aluminum Nike stick, got one.
Holy shit, I haven't seen those in a minute.
Got one right here.
I've not seen those in a long time.
I can't believe you just called out aluminum Nike stick.
Yeah, I remember getting whacked with those. It didn't feel good. Getting whacked with sticks today is not that bad compared to those.
My team, I played for Mission roller hockey, and we were sponsored by Nike at the time, which sounds odd, but Mission wasn't that big of a company at the time. And they sponsored us. So I had the first skates, those white and black Nike skates, this stick. I had a bunch of these sticks. All of our equipment, except for a few things, were Nike, the gloves. But I actually wasn't a fan of any of the Nike stuff, except for the skates. The skates were pretty cool.
Yeah. When they owned Bauer, I wouldn't touch Bauer. And then when Bauer went on its own again, I was head to toe Bauer for years. And then when I got to Virginia was when I started branching out, because I tried on a pair of Warrior gloves and a CCM helmet and a pair of CCM skates. And then I didn't have anything Bauer for years. But now I'm mostly a CCM guy, but I'll never switch off of Bauer skates again, because I felt weird skating. Every pair of skates I've ever had have been Bauer except for 3. I had one pair of Beeston skates. I want to say it was S19s. I had one pair of, they're about the same age as the skates you showed earlier. They were like the CCM 550s or whatever they were called. That was my first pair. And then I had a pair of CCM Super Tacs, but even then I had the Bauer Toque holder on them. So it's like, I've essentially always worn Bauer skates, and now I've got 2 pairs that are customs. But yeah, so it's like back to the less fun topic for a minute, and then we can talk about more fun stuff to close the show out. But the thing about it is, it's like, what annoys me more than anything about the fans we're talking about, they sit around and they talk about the toxicity of other fans, yet they are terminally online, and they threaten people and their children over saying, I don't like a certain player, or I think that this guy maybe should get traded.
Not even that you don't like him. I love him. I love the guy. I just think I wanted better for him. I think if he was he would become the captain if he was on Utah, or if he was traded to a team like that, and he would be the number 1. And he wouldn't be in the that shadow, like I said. Go on. I'm sorry. Oh,
no, you're good. But yeah, it's like that's the thing about it, though. And it's just weird to me that like I said, it seems to be a nearly hockey specific thing, like them people making those edits like we were talking about with the 3 players in the frame. And it's pretty obvious what was implied there. Yeah. And the fact that they changed one from the original photo from an official to a player, and then changed the dimensions of how far apart the players were from each other and what it looked like they were doing. Right. So it's like, it's strange. And what bothers me about it is we always talk about wanting to grow the game and bring more people into it. And primarily what you're going to target for business purposes and to bring, good lifelong fans in, you want kids to see this stuff, not that stuff in particular.
Right.
But you want them to get involved with hockey and the way that
become fans at a young age.
And maybe play if they're near a rink and all that, and if they can afford it, because you and I both know it's an expensive sport. Even when we were growing up, it was pretty expensive. That's why I didn't play travel or anything like that. We couldn't afford it.
I got lucky that I was sponsored a few times. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to either.
Yeah, and it's like, and the thing about it is, I don't know how it was for you. I didn't grow up dirt poor. Hockey was just that expensive. And I wasn't good enough at it to justify that type of cost.
Yeah, at some point it becomes a burden if you're not gonna be making it anywhere. I mean, it's hard to swallow for some people. For me, it wasn't, because I was never gonna be an NHL caliber player in the first place. So it's not like I had to bite the bullet, But for some people think that they're gonna make the NHL, and they probably won't. And you know what? I hope they do, but some people get delusional about it.
I agree, because it's like here's an example. Like, a lot of people say that all these players in the NHL, or that play hockey for a living in general, that they all came from these super wealthy backgrounds. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, that's bullshit. A lot of them, let me tell you what some of the, and I keep in mind, I work at an ice rink, and I worked at a pure hockey before that. And I've averaged 2-3 days a week at a rink for the last 20 plus years. A lot of parents, what they will do to keep their kids in hockey, other than unspeakable things, and yes, that does happen. I'm not going to mention what they are, but you can probably guess.
Yeah.
There's a reason certain people get into coaching that shouldn't. I'll leave it at that. But they will forego going on family vacations. They basically don't have Christmas and birthdays. They will move into smaller houses. They will take higher paying jobs that they don't like as much. I have seen people go through all kinds of shit to keep their kid playing,
for their kids, to keep them going.
Yeah, even though they have a less than 1% chance of playing for a living. And I'm not just talking about the NHL. I'm talking about going anywhere where you get paid to play.
Pro in general.
Yeah, and if you go to play in a league like, say, the SPHL or the Fed, you're not making money to go out and buy your own house or have your own apartment. The booster club is making money so that you can live in the assigned apartment that you get from the team.
Right.
And all that type of stuff. Like, you're not living lavishly.
And
it's
not going to last. If you go to the KHL, you might not even have a home when you get back from a game. Sometimes they steal their apartments in the middle of when they go to a game.
I remember reading about that. Yeah. No, that's insane. I don't know if you ever saw it, but there was one guy, he played in like the second highest level of professional hockey in I want to say it was either Sweden or Switzerland. He did a video blog about it. And he was basically living in the back of an 18-wheeler that he converted into a house in a cold place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like,
that's crazy. They, you know, a lot of people, a lot of players have sacrificed a lot to become NHL players. And not, you know what, you got to admit, a lot of hockey players who grew up with the means, it was a little easier for them maybe to get to a level because they didn't have to worry about certain things. But like your friend Hagestry, I'm sorry, Jarvis has proved that. Very humble family. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are not from rich families, especially the Russian players. They're from dirt poor families. You know,
Svechnikov said that him and his brother shared gear.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I know Shakir Makamadulan, who's now in San Jose, and I love that guy. Big defenseman.
He's awesome.
The Devils picked him third out of their 3 first-round picks: Holtz, Mercer, and Makamadulan. And he was woken up out of his sleep because he didn't think he was going to get drafted. But when I saw the video, there's a video of him in his home. You could tell he lived in like a shack with his mother in like the middle of nowhere. You know, these guys. So maybe some Canadian or American players that might have grown up wealthy, but the guys from like Russia, for the most part, they play hockey so their family won't have to live the way they grew up in the first place. You know, that's like one of the reasons to play hockey, so they can make money, you know, to help their family because they're broke.
The gear industry doesn't help with this, but that's a different discussion entirely.
Yeah.
So
before you go on, do you have stores like here we have Play It Again Sports where, you know, used hockey equipment is very easy to get?
So there is a Play It Again here, but the problem with it is there's only one rink, so there's not a ton of people trading hockey gear in there.
So it's that sucks.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things. It's like, so I got into it online with somebody, and then I'll go to the other thing I was going to say, but I got into it with somebody online because one of the types of people we were talking about before that just constantly wants attention, she posted a picture. So I think it was the new CCM XF Tax XF Ghost sticks, the senior ones, $400 a pop. She posted a picture of that and saying, this is why hockey or sports are so inaccessible. Okay, one, that's a pro level senior stick. Right. I buy myself those with my own money. So that's my business. And I get a discount on them. That's part of the reason I work at that store.
And you don't need that stick.
I don't need it, but I buy it because it's my money. I'll do what I want to with it. But the thing about it is, it's like people see that and then they just automatically went into their organized outrage in the comments. And I was kind of like, all right, hold on. You can look, there are alternatives to this stuff. And what's funny to me about it is, and this is a little known, it's one of the worst kept secrets in the hockey industry. When you look at that type of price, one, that's a senior stick. Two, it's a pro level stick. And if you're not playing like AAA juniors or something like that, you don't need it. And even then, there are people I know that use sticks that are 2, 3, 4 price points down that have better shots than anybody who can buy one of those and use it. And this is coming from someone who's not good at shooting a puck. I stuck with defense for a reason. So there's that to consider. And if you look hard enough, if you go to Pro Stock or Sideline Swap, go to gear sales, like you can find really good stuff for a lot less. And what's funny to me about it is when people say, well, that's an unfair advantage to the kids that maybe don't have the type of means to get a stick like that. And I'm like, here's something that everybody should know, but they don't. Every time the big manufacturers, Bauer, CCM, Warrior, make a new stick, their new top of the line stick, they only develop one new stick. And then they take the one from last year, they make that the second price point, and they put a different coat of paint on it. They just reskin it with a different graphic and sell it for $50 less than what it was selling the previous year. They don't have to do anything else. And I don't know about you, but if I could go back and just have a bunch of the Total One NXGs or MX3s, I would take those any day over the sticks that they have now. And those were only $200 a piece.
A Mission M1. That was my favorite stick, especially for defense. It was nice and long. I don't know why they made them extra long for some reason.
Mission manufactured theirs with really long shafts.
Yeah, I love the Mission M1. I had a blue one. That it didn't cost me much, and I played with that for years. I love that stick. I have this one here. What's this? A Bauer Vapor?
Dude, I used to have one of those. That's the X40, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I had one of those,
and
I snapped it the third time that I used it. I was so upset.
This is old. It never snapped on me. The mission stick eventually snapped on me, actually.
But, yeah, no, these sticks nowadays, it's like, Gino could probably break one of them in half with, carrying.
He'll bite it.
Because, he'll just bite it and
like
it'll break
stick,
open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, these sticks nowadays, see, that's one of the other things that kind of annoys me, that people are always like, okay, like, here's another funny thing. There was one day when I was still working at Pure Hockey, I was fitting this kid for a helmet, and it was a good fit all the way around, cage fit fine, everything. And then someone who was not one of his parents, she walks in there and starts raising hell, saying that he needs to try on the CCM Super Tax X helmet. And I said, ma'am, I already tried that one on him. It didn't fit him. There was a lot of negative space in the back. So, it was flipping forward on him a little bit and it didn't make contact.
Right.
Fitting a helmet is a pretty simple process, and it doesn't matter how much money you spend on it. If it doesn't fit properly, it's not going to do its job to the greatest extent that it can.
Right.
And I'm like, just because it's more expensive doesn't mean that it works better. That everybody wanted to bitch about how bad the Bauer 4500 and the CCM V08 were just because they had the old school VN type of phone in it. And I'm kind of like, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't matter. So
right.
I
the foam isn't a big difference anyway.
It's not. It's gimmicky. It really is. And it's like, that's why I stocked up on the Tax 710 helmets that I like, because they're way cheaper and they were going extinct anyway. But like, there's that. And then there's this whole thing with the net guards. I'm not saying what happens in cases where players have those types of injuries are good. Right. I'm not saying that, that it's okay that it happens, but like, it's not a very common thing. And if the league is, the league's mandating it now, okay, whatever, that's fine. But the thing about it is, it's like people have this false perception that the gear can completely mitigate all forms of injury and all that type of stuff. And it's not possible. It's like, if you choose to play, you're inherently taking some degree of risk. The most dangerous thing, if you ask me now, is the sticks, because now everybody has a 90-mile-per-hour shot.
That's why, I was going to say, slap shots are almost, you don't see a slap shot anymore. The sticks are so good, no one needs to take slap shots. They could just whip that shot right off, in a snapshot.
It's effortless now. It's like, and the other thing is they break so easy. So me personally, as far as the NHL goes, or any professional league for that matter, I think that you would see you're more likely to see a more serious injury from someone taking a shot in the mush somewhere.
Yeah.
Or a stick breaking, becoming a missile hazard and hitting them, than you are for a skate blade to cause a serious injury.
Yeah, skate blade injuries are rare as fuck.
They're very rare. And that's the other funny thing about it to me, is like, people change their opinion about the net guard thing depending on who the player was that almost gets cut by one. Like when Juraj Slafkovsky got cut up in the eye, or near the eye, a couple of weeks ago, and I was glad he was okay and everything. But if that had been Tony D'Angelo getting cut there, they wouldn't have said the same thing.
They wouldn't have cared.
No, they would have said, "Oh, damn, it should have been a little bit lower." Is probably what they would have said. Let's just be real about it.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't going to go that far, but yeah, you're right. 100%.
Well, yeah, it's just like, if we're going to address like how they're being about it and everything, but it's like,
that's true.
The sticks are more dangerous now than the helmet technology or the net guards, but nobody is talking about that.
Speaking of sticks, when I was growing up, one of the most dangerous sticks ever made was the Sherwood Paul Coffey curve stick. That stick,
the curve was like,
the curve could kill someone in an airplane. You could try to hit hit a corner and hit a plane. That's how high the puck would go.
Yeah.
But those
and for those of you who don't know, the Paul Coffey curve was like that much of a hook. And that's not an exaggeration.
It's not even illegal. It's like beyond illegal. It's like a C. And I loved using it on, because it was still a good stick. And I always took wrist shots, because even though I played as defense, my favorite player growing up was Alexander Mogilny, and he was a wrist shot guy. So I always learned from his wrist shot. So I was a wrist shot guy, and using that stick, if you just kind of undershot, it wouldn't go too high. And I figured it out. So I was getting good shots with that stick for a while. I love that stick. Oh, wow. Sherwoods.
Yeah, they
good times.
Yeah, they're making stuff again now. They I don't think I'll ever use any of them, but I had a Sherwood stick a few years ago of their new ones. It was all right. I didn't really like it though. And then like there's the PMP 7000s, which are basically like a heavy composite stick, but the graphics on it are really cool because it looks like they're old school like wood ones. So there's a lot of people that like are on a budget that buy those. And see, that's another thing. It's like back to that whole comment section exploding with people being outraged. You know, they were just kind of like, I'm like, yo, I actually am trying to help with this problem in my own small way because I try to help save people money when they come to the store. You know, it's like they'll come up to me and they'll be like, hey, I really like this pair of gloves. Do you have something similar that's cheaper? And I'll drop them down 2 or 3 price points. And, you know, if you ask me you know, like, for example, I'll lay 2 pairs of gloves out in front of them, like, see if you like the palms and this lower price point one more than the other one, you know, stuff like that. Just
you're not trying to just sell the most expensive thing to everyone.
No, because I want them to be able to play for one thing. And 2, if I sell them something that if I do good business with them, then they'll come back. I'm all
you do them I'm a favor.
Gary, yeah. I'm not Gary Bettman. I care about long-term gains, not short-term gains.
Right. And, you know, I didn't say that. I wanted to say this before about sticks. Regarding buying a stick, if you're a good hockey player and you're not, and, you know, your family isn't rich or whatever it is, if you're good, you could play with a stick that isn't $400 and still play good. Like, you could still have a good game. The stick isn't going to make you Superman, you know? So buying sticks, you know, a couple of price points down is never really a problem if you're serious about your game. If you're just going to play in a house league for fun, there's definitely no reason to buy any expensive stick at all. But those are where I see the most expensive sticks, is when I see people playing like stupid house league. Not stupid, but, you know, you're in a house league, sorry. But you know what I mean? Just in a house league.
I know what you meant.
They're going crazy about like buying the most expensive stick. And I'm like, you don't need a stick like that. Like, if I was going to play tonight, I'd just take one. I'd use this Mogilny CCM from 2001 or 2000, whatever year, and play with that because it's a lefty.
Well, see, that's one thing I was explaining to people about buying pro stock ones. You know, I told them, I'm like, okay, let's say you use an 85 flex, right? But you find a 75 flex online somewhere, but it's 3 or 4 inches too long. Just cut the damn thing.
Cut it.
And then it's basically the flex of what you're looking for.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's literally the same thing. It's no different. It won't change where the kick point is. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, for example, I've got to find it, but there's some old pictures of the late Johnny Gaudreau using like Jet Speed 470 sticks or something like that. He didn't even use top price point sticks. Oh, another funny thing, Patrick Kane still uses the Bauer APX2. They just wrap it in whatever the modern one is. Like,
right, he's get the wrapping on his sticks. Yep.
Yeah, but it's like he's been using the same stick basically since he came in the league. So it's like there's ways to find these things if you look hard enough. There's ways around them. Like I've got 3 pairs of gloves, right? But I have a guy in Roanoke who like works on them for me and everything. So every time the palms start getting worn out or the gussets need to be replaced, I just send them to him instead of needing to buy new ones. And, you know, that's business for him. And I get to keep using, because I have HG 97s and mine are like, the reason I bought so many of them is they're going extinct. Nobody wears 4-roll gloves anymore. So,
right. Yeah. I used to wear Louisville TPS gloves. They were my favorite. And for me, growing up, I could have bought new gloves. I could have bought elbow pads. My elbow pads till the last game I played hockey, I swear to you, still say S. This is not my name, by the way. S. Morrow, Morrow. I got it from Play It Again Sports as a kid. They were just little pieces, like a tissue that you, because I didn't want to wear big elbow pads. So I just, so I still wore them. And also, you know, I played in, you know, tournament hockey and travel and all that stuff. And I never had like very expensive equipment or sticks. You know, it wasn't, important to me as long as I can use what I have properly. That was always my thing, you know?
No, I absolutely
I honestly forgot where I was going with that. I had a point that I was going to make, but I totally forgot what it was.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of topics here, though. This has been a whole lot of fun, though. But like,
yes,
excuse me. But well, that's one of the things. It's like I tell people, especially if like you're an adult and you're already grown into your full body, or whether you're a kid, it doesn't matter. The two things you need to spend a decent amount of money on: your helmet and your skates. Everything else, less than $500, and you can have the rest of it. So
that's where I was going. My gloves. I let them go until my fingers were coming out of them so I could grip my stick with my bare hands. And I liked that. And I never had them fixed. No one looked at them, didn't have to pay for any of that. And I wore those gloves till the last day I played hockey, and those elbow pads. So, you know, it's never, you don't have to have the best equipment to be the best player. That's never been the case, and it never will be.
Yeah, and that's what I've told people. It's like for example, so since I've been getting myself back in shape and everything, I feel a whole lot better when I play. And there's a lot of people that think the gear is going to make them good, and I'm like, can you do 10 push-ups without getting winded?
Yeah, that's
well, that's a big deal. Like, are you in shape? Like, that's much more important than the gear.
Number one, yeah. Sabres just might win tonight. Oh, the Sabres are going to get a win in?
I hope not. I want Tage.
Yeah, that would be that. I want Tage.
Yeah,
I'm the only player, the only person I'm willing to let the Devils trade Jesper Bratt for is if they pulled in Tage Thompson.
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't let Bratt go anyway if I were you guys, just because like
I wouldn't either. But
yeah,
if
it's like
that was the case.
Yeah, that would be like Carolina giving up Jarvis to get Tage. It would be kind of like, yeah, you made the team better in one way, but then you let go of, you
lost
your best player. Because, like, I can't count the number of times people have gotten pissed at me because I said Jack Hughes is the third best player on the Devils. I'll take Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt over him any day of the week, especially Bratt.
Especially with his turnovers. Oh, the Jack Hughes turnovers. Ooh.
Oh, that one on Marchenko's goal the other night? That was
the worst. Oh, yeah. God. He gave it right to him. He literally said, hey, Marchenko.
Here you go.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bratt, I mean, Nico is Bratt. People don't, first of all, Devils fans, Canes fans. The longest tenured Devils are Nico Hischier and Jesper Bratt. Jesper Bratt and Nico played their first game together in 2017, but Jesper Bratt is the longest tenured Devil on paper because he signed his ELC before Nico was even drafted. So actually, Jesper Bratt's the number one Devil. And then as you maybe not talent wise, but if you were putting the players in order, I would say it's hard to go one or two with Nico and Bratt. And then, Jack is below that for sure. But Nico plays the two-way game, but Bratt also does and doesn't get the credit that Nico gets. Bratt, if you look, he blocks shots. He plays on the PK. Obviously, he's shorthanded goals. A lot of shorthanded goals. He's a great defensive player, too. He doesn't get – and he also is not just like – this is why I think he gets number one, because Nico is very prone to injury, just like Jack and Luke Hughes. And Jesper Bratt plays – every game of the season, most of the time, never gets hurt. He takes hard hits. He's, and he's a smaller guy, but he just doesn't ever get hurt. And, that's why he's always around. And that's why he's probably going to hit 100 points this year for the first time. The Devils have never had a 100-point player. And I think Bratt is going to be the one to do it.
Yeah, and the Canes have only had one, and that was Eric Stahl in the Cup year. He had 100 points. And, see, it's funny that we mentioned that now. I think that out of all the players in the league, the two wingers that are the most likely to win because wingers don't normally win the Selke. It's normally centers. I think the two most likely are Jarvis and Bratt as far as wingers go that could win the Selke. I think it's between those two if you're just talking about wingers. And if you ask me, like when I watch Aho and Hischier play, they're like the same damn player almost. Like their games are very similar.
Very similar game. Very similar game. So I have an Aho card here. I have Frederick Anderson in front of me. I have Alex Nedeljkovic, Ian Cole, Slavin. I got a Slavin. Antti Ranta. Remember him?
I most certainly do. Father
Taylor
Finn.
Hall, Teravainen, another Jarvis. It was a Stadium Series Jarvis.
Oh, that one's cool.
Yeah, I got Stadium Series Jarvis. Max Domi.
I saw that one at the store the other day. Actually, that Max Domi one you just showed. Oh, that's Slavin one. That's nice.
Slavin and Kokaniemi. These are just ones I have sitting in front of me. Obviously, I have a lot of Canes cards.
Man, that's a guy I've taken a lot of heat for defending, as you have probably seen.
Who?
Kokaniemi, yeah.
Yeah.
I've taken so much heat for defending him.
I just dropped him from my fantasy team, to be honest.
Yeah, him getting scratched last night didn't help. I mean, I think he's a good player. He just ultimately might not be a good fit. Like, it's like great players.
He's tradable.
Yeah, great players. Sometimes they need to go somewhere else to work out. Like the Canes, in that case, seen it with Martin Necas. He's doing pretty well in Colorado so far, especially after having a full camp and playing with McKinnon. Like, it's like I think Martin Necas was the most talented, like as far as God-given talent, he was the most talented player that the Hurricanes ever drafted, but he just couldn't put it together.
Fit. He didn't.
Yeah, he just didn't fit. That doesn't make him a bad player. It's the same thing like with
happens a lot. That's why some great players move around to 4 or 5 teams before they settle down. Sometimes it happens a lot more than you even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Taylor Hall. He's a great player. He just went through 5 teams in like 2 years.
Yeah, and it looks like he's finally found a place where he's going to stay for a while in Carolina. Yeah. And, it's like I really like him. So I just hope he stays in the bottom 6 because he turns the bottom 6 into a very, very lethal bottom 6. When he goes into the top 6, it's not that he's not capable of playing in Carolina's top 6. It's that it dilutes the
Taylor Hall. Devils Taylor Hall.
Yeah, because he went to the Devils second, right? That's when they traded for Adam Larson, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
1 for 1. Yep.
See, that was what surprised me about that trade, was that it was 1 for 1 and that New Jersey didn't have to send anything else in addition to Adam Larson.
Hey, it is what it is. It didn't, in the end, it didn't help the Devils. He got a heart. We have a player that won the heart. Wow. Big deal. In the end, it really didn't do anything. He was actually, he did play with Nico Hischier and Bratt when they first came into the league. So he was helpful in that.
Yeah, so, he did help develop them. Yeah.
But for anyone who might want to check out my podcast, The Devils I have a segment called the Taylor Hall of Shame, and that's when a Devils player, I pull out my Taylor Hall jersey, I put it behind me, and then I have a little intro video, and then I'll talk about what player, or like Tom Fitzgerald, the general manager, was the last Taylor Hall of Shame inductee. And then I'll tell you why I inducted them and what they did wrong. It's a little segment I do. I think it's funny, and
I like it.
Been doing it for 3 years, so I never get over it. Just the Taylor Hall of Shame. It's a funny name, and I love
it. It is a funny name. I like it. It's and it's like your page for your dog is really cool too, for Gino.
Oh yeah, Gino the Devil Dog. Follow him. He has a lot of fun. He has many adventures.
He does. And it's like there's a family around here that has a dog that looks identical to him. Can't tell them apart.
Oh, yeah.
Gino looks like maybe he's a little bit bigger, so maybe this other one's a female. I've never been close enough to see, but like dog looks identical. What is Gino anyway?
I get this question every day, and he's a rescue. So I don't know, but I did do a DNA test, and it came back as Maltese, Chihuahua, Boxer. Very odd things. Nothing that you would think, like terrier or a Schnauzer. Nothing, But I do know. This is how I got Gino. His mother was homeless in Texas. They found her on the street. She wasn't homeless. They found her on the street. Well, I guess she is homeless. She was pregnant, and then they were bringing her up to Long Island, and then she had the babies in the van, and Gino was one of those babies, and he was actually the mutt, not the mutt. What do you call the runt? Call it the runt.
Yeah, the little one.
And he was the only black one. They were all white and like golden, and he was black, and he ended up, as they all grew, becoming the biggest one and the best looking one out of all of them. They all have like shorter snouts and shorter legs, and he grew like into this cute dog that everyone wants to know what breed he is, and they think he looks like a full breed dog. and they want to know what he is, but I can never tell anyone what he is because he's just he's a mutt.
Yeah, mine is most certainly a mutt. But like Gino, I think my favorite thing about him, I love his little beard that he has. It just looks so cool.
Yeah, he's got his little beard, and then he's got the red mustache area here. When the light shines on it, you see it. It's like it's part of when I did his DNA test. It said that one of the dogs that he is in his DNA, they have some sort of thing that goes on that makes the hair brittle and turn like rust colored. And so whatever dog that was, that's where he gets that from. And it's just a cool little thing that he's got on his face. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's he was also, just to get a little personal. When I got him, my dog named Jersey just passed away. Gino was born the day after my dog Jersey passed away. That's when he was born in that van. And I was depressed and not going through a lot, but it was a bad time for me. And I got Gino, and he saved me. He brought me back because I was like giving up on a lot of things at that time. And if I didn't get Gino and have his energy around, and him needing me like a baby, and to put me back into my place, I might not be sitting here with you. I'm not saying I would be dead or anything, but like I might not be even doing any of this stuff right now because I was giving up on things at that time. So thank God for Gino.
No, I can totally relate to that, man. My like when I was in my early 20s, it wasn't a good time for me, and I kind of started to get past some of that stuff after I got out of the military and I had a fresh start and everything like that. But like I used to have this horrible temper, and I used to get pissed off about shit that really wasn't worth getting pissed off about. I can't count the number of times I rolled my window down and told people I was going to fight them in traffic and all kinds of other shit. And then I got this dog, and then I stopped doing stuff like that so much because I'm like, well, I can't go to jail. I have to go home and feed him and walk him and all this other stuff. And then not to mention, it's like when I get home, because he stays up here in the man cave, and then like when I get home, so my girlfriend and the little dog, our little Chihuahua, is downstairs, and the Chihuahua will always be the first one to greet me. He'll basically shove his mom out of the way. He'll jump up on the couch and then jump on the back of the couch to make sure that he's the first one to greet me.
So
and
he's number one. Yeah.
Yeah. He has to be number one. And it's funny. Like he'll follow you within a step. And then when you accidentally step on him, you're like, dude, like,
hey,
I don't want to do that to you, but you're running underneath my feet. But yeah, he'll just run up there and, he'll say hi. And then I see my girlfriend after we're done finally getting the Chihuahua out of the way. And then I come upstairs and I see him. And, it's like having a dog has worked wonders for me. I don't think that I'd be in a stable relationship or that I'd be a very happy person today without my dog. I mean, I've always loved animals, but it wasn't until I finally got one of my own that I really understand like how.
Yeah, your dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you're like, responsible for solely. Yes.
Yeah. And then you develop that bond with them. And it's like there was a golden retriever that I really loved that I used to take care of for a friend of mine when she was gone. And I had a pretty strong connection with that dog. But like once I got my own and everything, and it's like, but like you're saying, your dog, it's like, it's different.
Yeah. And they do, like my mother, like my aunt, who I haven't seen in years, came to New York the other day. She was here. And so I went over to my mother's, and she was there. And my mother said, ever since my name's Joe, ever since Joey, she calls me Joey, ever since Joey got Gino, he's been so much more positive. And so like she was saying this, and I was like, really? Like a lot of things I haven't heard, but things that other people notice. So dogs are just a gift from heaven. That's it.
They really are.
Sabres are up 5-2.
Oh, wow. That wasn't on my bingo card today. But yeah, no, it's just like Frankel, like he'll, it's like his little doggy bed is right there next to my beanbag and everything. And what he'll do is he'll be like halfway laying on that, and the other half will be laying on my beanbag, and I'll be able to sit there and give him pats on his head. And, that's one of the reasons I'm glad that I've got a little bit more free time on my hands, and the weather, I live somewhere with nicer weather because I can take him out and do stuff with him. And, it's like he's been really good for me and everything. And I mean, I can't imagine my life without my dogs. They've both done a lot for me and everything. And I know that's one of the first times that you and I really started talking was I posted that thing where he went to the vet. We were worried he had something bad. He ended up not, thankfully. And then that's when you and I started becoming really good friends too. So in that regard, I mean, I got a lot to be thankful for this dog, you know, because like you've become a great friend of mine. So
the dogs brought us together. Yeah.
They did, because we just never crossed paths before until then.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever saw you until that moment, actually. But I see a dog in trouble, and you know, I get sad.
Yeah. That's one thing that, like, you know, it's like there was one guy that I used to play on one of my old veterans teams with. I fucking hated that guy. I hated him with a passion. I couldn't stand him. But he lost one of his dogs, and I took the time to reach out to him and everything. And I had no desire to talk to him, but that's one of those times where it's like I feel like they bring out that humanity in us. They really do.
Absolutely.
To where I'm like, okay, I don't like this guy. I hate his guts, but like I love my dog, so I can only imagine what he's going through. Like, I've seen some people that are some of the, and I'm including myself in this, they're some of the most abrasive, cold-hearted, fucked up people you can imagine, and they will turn a corner because of a damn animal.
Yes, that's why they give the animals to the guys in prisons. You know, they get dogs, cats. They help train them in prisons. I know they do that in New York prisons. I'm not sure, you know, in other states too, I'm sure. But people, murderers and you know, all those kinds of people, they're trusted with the animals. They don't think they're not scared that these guys will hurt the animals. Never, you know. So animals can get anyone, you know, bring their heart out, you know.
Yeah, because if anybody ever hurt my dog, John Wick would turn into a documentary. Yeah, I can promise you that shit. Yeah, it's on.
I told my brother recently, he you know, Gino, like you said, was walking so close to his feet, and he goes, Gino, he was kidding, and he's like, I'm gonna kick you. And I said, if you like, you know, you cross like 2 rooms. I said, if I hear a fucking squeal, I'm coming, you know. And obviously he didn't kick him.
But, yeah, it's, but yeah, no, man, I love my dogs to death. I've always liked animals more than I like people, though, because animals typically won't hurt you unless either they're scared or they're hungry. People will hurt you for fun.
Right, but animals, it's food or fear. The double Fs.
When I first got him,
has a pug and 2 basset hounds. Spoiled.
Where's that one at?
Yeah,
I love basset hounds. Their ears I like pugs too, but their ears are just so funny, the way that they're all floppy and everything. Oh, we got a lot of dog stuff here. I got my dog Remington while I was married, and he got me through terrible marriage battles with depression and ultimately the divorce, and he and his sister are now my rocks. Yeah. And you know, dogs, like, the worst thing a dog is going to do to piss you off is maybe tear up your carpet, because I had to get part of mine replaced because he had a hard time with, and you've lived down this way before, so you know how there can be all these sudden and violent storms during summertime. Yes. Well, I think he equated being in this room with those storms, and he always wanted to get out. So he would try to dig his way out, and he tore the carpet up. And then after a while, what we just started doing was letting him out. And then he realized, oh, wait, it's louder down here. I'm not getting away from it. And then now he just goes, what I do is I leave the closet door open for him up back there if I think the weather's going to be bad. And he just runs in there and hides now. They're smart. They're smarter than we are. They figure stuff out.
He figured it out. Yeah, that's smart. Dylan also, a couple of chats up, he said, that one right there.
Yeah, I actually talked to him on the phone recently. And, you know, Dylan, after your personal little health scare there, we're happy that you're doing okay. But yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Glad you were doing well, Dylan.
Yeah, no, he's doing good now. And, you know, this guy's, you know, he's one of the first, like, friends that I ever made on here. So, but cool. He's a good dude. But yeah, like, lost dog heart cancer condition. Is getting old and heart condition. Yeah, that does suck. You'll be surprised how long dogs can live, though, because there was a Pekingese poodle mix, a peekapoo as they're called, that my dad used to have. And he started having really bad seizures, and the vet said he was only going to live about 3 more years, and he actually lived about 12 after that.
Wow.
So, yeah, he lived for a long time.
There was a dog at the park the other day that was 17, and the dog was running with Gino and his friends like he was 2.
Yeah, and Gino's got some speed. I've seen videos that you post of him running. He's a quick little dog.
Yeah, he can fly. He actually likes to chase, so in those videos, he's not even going at his full speed because he's usually chasing. And staying behind on purpose, but he could usually pass those dogs. He's very quick. When I bring him to open fields and he just starts running, he's goner. Bing.
Yeah, that's why I can't let mine go anywhere, because I'd never get him back. So like I have to take him to an enclosed park, or, you know, a lot of days where I'm busy with stuff, I'll just take him to doggy daycare. And they told me, and they're going to get a video of this for me eventually, but they said that he'll get on, they have this thing called a peanut board, which is apparently like a balancing type of board thing or whatever. And they say that he can get on that with all 4 of his paws and just stay on it forever.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I
and they're
bring
like, it's
Gino
really
to
impressive.
a place called Houndstown. So that's like his daycare place. They don't, the one thing is there are other places around that have video, so you could actually look in the video on your phone while they're there, but this place doesn't. But Gino won't run away from me, because if I walk away, he'll freak out and follow me. But I'm scared he'll get hit by a car, because he'll run right across the street as he's playing. You know, but if I walk away, you know, if I leave the dog park to go to the car, he starts yelping, tries to jump over the fence, you know, and he jumps high. For you wouldn't imagine, you couldn't ever guess how high he jumps. I can't even explain it. He gets up to my face, he jumps and can lick my face easily. And and he's small, you know, he's not big. It's really funny. So he almost clears the fence to get out of the dog park. So I can't even go to the car if I forget something, you know. I have to send someone to go get his water if I forget it or whatever. Anyway, any other hockey stuff you want to talk about? We talked about 19 Dachshund. Do they live that long?
Little dogs like that can live a long time. Like they really can. It's like I have a friend who had a Chiweenie that lived for a really long time. Like not that damn long.
Gino's my first small dog. I had a Weimaraner named Shadow. Jersey was a chocolate lab. And then my dogs when I was younger were all big. So Gino's the first dog and he's the first dog that belongs to me. And like I said, like I said before, once that happened, changed the way I look at life. And I have kids, but the dog is just a different animal, literally. And
well, yeah, it is. It's just, well, I mean, my dad's kind of the same way though. It's like he's always just liked animals more than people. I mean, my whole family's like that. My grandparents, they grew up in Western North Carolina, and they both grew up on farms. So, you know, they had a lot of animals. They had horses and all kinds of other stuff. And yeah, it's just there's something about them, man. They're just fun.
Yeah. And, you know, ironically, this whole time we've been in here, this is probably the longest that I haven't seen Gino. Like, usually he checks on me. Like, he'll come.
Yeah, I know. He likes to come into the frame.
Yeah, and just check to see what I'm doing, and then he'll go back to wherever he was. You know, he hasn't bothered me though.
Yeah, Frankie, he'll a lot of times what he'll do is, if I'm sitting there on that beanbag, the moment I get up, he'll get up from his bed or wherever he's laying. He goes over there and gets in the beanbag and curls up, because what I'm going to do eventually, I'm going to move his dog bed here downstairs, and I'm going to get myself a nice couch to put right here. And I'm going to move that beanbag over here and let him lay in that when he's up here.
And give that to him.
Yeah, spoiled rat.
As Gino grew, the little bed, he had like a little bed. It turned into his pillow. So his old little bed is now his actual. He uses it like a human would use a pillow. You know, right there. That's where he sleeps, right over there. And it's just funny to watch. It's funny. I don't know. All right, enough about dogs. I'm
love trying
dogs.
To find this. Yeah, no, I was trying to find that picture I was talking about earlier of Johnny Gaudreau using the lower price point stick.
You know, Johnny Gaudreau, New Jersey guy.
Because a friend of mine showed it to me.
And I believe that. I totally believe. I mean, obviously you're looking for the picture, so it exists.
Is that it? No, I wish I could find it, because I know it exists. I know I've seen it.
I gotta say about Johnny Gaudreau, one of
you're muted.
I am? How?
Nope.
I'm muted?
I still can't hear you. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Let me make sure I didn't accidentally mute you, so.
I don't know. I'm not muted.
No, it's still. Here, hold on. Let me try something. Okay, how about now?
Hello? Hello?
Hold up. Maybe it's me.
Hello? 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 They
got
can
it.
hear me.
I got
It was you, wasn't it?
It was me. Yeah, it's just mine cut out for some reason. I don't know why. It's
Okay.
just like, yeah, because I could see you talking and I just couldn't hear you. But yeah, go ahead with what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Forgot what I was saying, to be honest with you. I don't even remember what I was just saying.
Oh, but man, this is
because I got so worried that my microphone was broken or something. Because that's what I get worried about things so fast that I totally forgot what I was doing. Oh,
and you've got one of the nice ones too,
Johnny Gaudreau. That's what I was gonna say. As a hockey card collector, and I hate when people start things with "as a white male," like, but I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, as a hockey card collector, it's always fun to open a pack and get a Johnny Gaudreau card. And I've recently been getting a lot of cards when I open packs. It's just like it's obviously a horrible thing what happened to him, but it's always nice to just see him pop out of a pack of cards when I open them. It's I don't know how to even explain it. It's like just brings back a memory of like, yeah, wow, we lost this guy. That's a fucked up thing that happened,
Yeah, it is. And it was, see, and you know what, actually this is actually something that's weird to talk about, but I actually haven't had a chance, I think, to actually talk about how I found out about it. So the night before, I was sitting there, I was watching somebody. It wasn't the Canes, I don't remember who. Or not the Canes. I was watching baseball. I don't remember who. It wasn't the Braves. But I was watching a baseball game and somebody texts me a screenshot of a Reddit post. And this is the night before it all got announced. The event itself had already occurred. And there was someone, you understand the whole Nick Castellanos hit a home run meme?
Yes.
Someone posted, the Phillies were playing somebody, and somebody posted on Reddit that Johnny Gaudreau and his brother had been killed that night. And I was like, why didn't you send me a link? And he said, because the post is already gone. So I didn't think nothing of it. And then I woke up the next morning and I was seeing all this stuff on the timeline on X where people are saying, oh my God, I hope this isn't true. I hope this isn't true. And it was of that same subject. And then Tim Peel wrote something about that, like, it hasn't been said officially, but like, I know for a fact that Johnny and his brother Matthew were killed by a drunk driver last night. And I was like, fuck, okay, I hope that this is wrong. I hope that this is all just some sort of really bad misunderstanding, sick joke, something. I get to work and a bunch of people are messaging me on, we had Skype at work. So a bunch of people are messaging me on there asking me what happened. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And then it kind of started coming out what had actually happened before the Columbus Dispatch officially released it, after the police released it and everything. And there was another leak online before that happened where they showed the address where they went to go notify the next of kin. So I was like, holy fuck, this probably actually happened. What I don't understand is how the screenshot of the address where they went to go notify the next of kin and why that person made that post on Reddit. And Castellanos did hit a home run that night, just for the record.
Yes.
I was like, how did this shit get out?
That is weird. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, somebody knew about it like 5 minutes after it happened, it seemed.
It must have been someone very close, like a EMT, or and someone who knew who it was. And I'm not trying to what's the word? I'm not trying to plug, but if you want to check out, I did an interview last year with Tim Peel. He's a friend of mine, and he told me that before it was released, he messaged me. I actually knew that, and knew that that was a real thing, because he messaged me and told me. And obviously I didn't say anything until it came out. He asked me not to, but when you said Tim Peel, it hit my head. Hey, check out my interview with Tim Peel. He talks about that situation in the interview.
Wow, that's nuts though, man. It's just like, and then it's like when they showed the screenshot of where they wrote down the next of kin notification, and they didn't have the names in the book, but they had the ages of both the victims. and it lined up with what ages they were, which, you know, they were both obviously way too young. And you know what made me mad about that more than anything was the fact that, like, the guy who did it's a veteran. That also really, really pissed me off. Or the guy who allegedly did it, he's not been convicted of anything yet. Let me make that abundantly clear.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
He did it. He was drunk. Pissed me off.
Yeah, that's what really annoyed me about it and everything. And, you know, what I really think, though, and this is just based on from when I was in the military, guys who do shit like that, because I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently he was stationed at Fort Bragg near where I grew up, and he already had one DUI, but he walked because the cop didn't show up to court. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something I heard through the grapevine outside of hockey. Well, the reason why I know that it's possible is because, so he was an officer, right? I cannot count the number of times where officers and senior enlisted guys did shit like that, and it got swept under the rug. But if a lower enlisted guy did that, he got the book thrown at him and then some.
Right.
So, you know, there's no telling how many times that people do those things and they get away with them because they know the right people. And, you know, things like that are not supposed to happen anywhere, but they're definitely not supposed to happen in the military, but they happen more in the military than they do anywhere where people scratch your back if they know you. So I'm waiting to see how all that unfolds, but I would be willing to bet if what exactly happened that they say happened did happen, that this guy probably wrote a bunch of people up, gave a bunch of people Article 15s, was a shitty leader, and he was just projecting the whole time, and he was the very thing that he said that he wasn't, that he was cleaning up amongst his ranks. I saw that so many times. I met some of the best people ever in the military. I really did. I also met some of the worst.
Some of the worst. I was going to say that's a place where you're going to get both of those extremes.
Yes, I met some of the most horrible human beings in my life that I ever met when I was in the military. And they wouldn't even be forthright with how much they suck. You know, if someone's an asshole and at least they're forward about it, at least I know what I'm getting. But, you know,
and you can respect that. You can respect that.
I respect that 10 times more than someone who's really passive aggressive and does shit behind your back.
Right.
Because, like, that was the type of shit that made me get out, and not 90 days. I wasn't out for 90 days, and they tried to get me to come back, and I told them to fuck off.
Boop. Wow. Operator error, should be so.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but I didn't have anything clicked or anything, I thought, and then it just finally, like, started working again where I could hear you. I don't know what it was.
It was probably StreamYard. EV Mux sometimes, like, does that with it'll all of a sudden tell me my microphone is disconnected, and it's not. And then I just disconnect it and connect it back, and then it's fine. That's one thing EV Mux does to me randomly.
Yeah, I aspire to have one of those one day, the Shure mics.
This is great. I love this mic.
Yeah, eventually I want to get one of those. I've just got a HyperX Quadcast right now. It does the job, but that's the best one on the market, the one you got in front of you.
Yeah, well, yours sounds perfectly fine, man. I don't know why I spent so much money when I started a podcast with this girl in England like a year ago, and she went and bought like a mic for $30, and when I listened back to our podcast, which this is actually the backdrop I bought for that, which we never ended up doing the podcast, but it was supposed to be, you know, overseas between the whatever. Anyway, she bought this $30 mic, and when I listened back to our first practice podcast, she sounded much clearer than me. So it's not always the equipment, you know.
Yeah, the one thing I am going to upgrade soon is I want to get a better camera, but this one right here, I got the mic, I got it on sale, and it's been working just fine for me, but eventually I would like to go to a higher definition, what do they call them, DSLR camera or whatever. I would like to do something like that eventually.
Whatever camera I'm using here, I don't even know what it is. It's just, it was like a $100 webcam thing, and it works good enough for me. So
yeah, that's what I've got. I've got a C920, I want to say, Logitech.
I think it's called Depstick or something. This brand of my company, the camera. I don't know. I was using the camera on my laptops, but I keep having to get a new laptop. I went through like 5 in a year. So you know, some of the cameras aren't great. Like this laptop has a good one, but I like to keep it on the side. I don't like to be forward. So
yeah, I just bought a new laptop and I needed it for school. So
well, yeah, you got a lot going on, man. And good for you though.
Well, I'm still glad we made time to do this and everything, because we've been trying to forever, but
it's been fun. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it absolutely has. But everybody, unfortunately, I won't be able to get to all the comments tonight. I'm very sorry because I have to be up early and everything. So to see, and you got to take care of your kiddos tonight and everything. So, all right, man. Everyone,
yeah,
thank you for joining
tomorrow's
us.
Devils opening day. So wish us luck, guys.
Yeah, who do you guys play tomorrow?
Florida.
Oh, Jesus.
Sound like a bowl of gravy. Yeah, the Devils were good. They were, I think, 3-1 against Florida last season. So hopefully we could just pretend that it was last season.
Yeah, that would be good. And like even though we're in the same division, I hate Florida way worse than I could ever hate you guys.
Yeah, I could imagine you would.
That happen. Yeah,
I actually like Florida because that was like when I lived down in Florida, I had season tickets for 2 years, and I, started to like them. So they were like my second favorite team. Like I don't have a second favorite team, but if the Devils disappeared, I probably would go to the Panthers. And this is something I have proof. I have pictures of me in a Panthers jersey from 2008. So I could prove that I'm not just saying that because they won the cup twice. I would never do that. I'm not a front runner. But yeah, I do like the Panthers a little bit. I can't deny it. So anyway.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. And this is not the last time we're going to do this. We're going to try to, maybe the next time the Canes and Devils play, we might hop on and do something. It just kind of depends on the schedule, but we're going to do our best to do all that. But everybody, thank you for joining us. We will see you again soon. Oh,
thanks, everyone.
Tell them where they can find you.
At DevilsJoint X on Twitter. Also, if you go on Spotify, you could check out my podcast, The Devils You Know. And also on Substack, The Devils You Know. Check those out. Also, my YouTube channel is at DevilsJoint X, and you can find all that stuff on there too. So, thank you.
All righty. Guys, y'all have a good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.